Hello and welcome to the Touring Pro Series. This is round 4 of the World Touring Masters from Salzburgring. Hello and welcome to this 4th round of the World Touring Masters Season 4. We are live from Salzburgring, the 3rd time this series has visited this track. It's a firm favourite with the drivers. I've got Liam Jenkins here with me today.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody. Once again, a real pleasure to be here. And if the last few races have anything to go by, this one really is going to provide some exciting racing. Of course, Jesper Talberg still leads the championship after winning all 4 rounds so far, or 3 rounds so far. And of course, after taking victory here last year, he wants to try and make it a double and again further extend that championship lead. So as you can see the standings on your screen now, Jesper currently holds a huge advantage over Davis. Of course, Davis sat there on 75 points. Tommy O'Hala moved up a position since last race, as did Eric de Vijp. Both of those two on 51 points and 50 respectively. McGregor actually went down. He's on 46 points. William Levesque finally gets his championship charge underway to try and boost himself up the standings. And of course, Chris Butcher had a bit of a troublesome race in a hotel room and went down on 43 points. Florian Strauss also suffered that race on 38, and Auburn on 37. Rivio, though, had a great result. Be looking to try and improve that once again here today. Maybe pick up another top 5 on 34. Bruno Sousa Ferreira sits on 33 at the moment. Aznagi on 27. David Yunt, I believe, isn't racing today, so he may suffer more on the 24 points he has at the moment. Ivo Simon sits on 18, and Roding moves up into those top 15 with 17 points. So still a fairly close championship in the midfield, despite the huge rock of a lead, if you're the Jesper Talberg's pulled out. So that midfield looking competitive as ever, and with a track nature such as this one, Ryan, it really should be close out there today.
Absolutely, and all the races that we've had at this track have been absolute classics around this Salzburgring track. We've got the very long, let's actually go into the game for you here, guys, and let's show you a bit of action. I know you've been dying to see a bit of action, and in the game we're going to go now, hopefully. And the explit loads for us, there we go, and we're watching Toby Davis, the runner-up from last season. Of course, runner-up in 2 seasons in a row. He's currently 2nd in the championship. He's had not too much practice for this event because he's been testing for Team Hard, who've got a competition to win a Volkswagen Cup drive for all of next year, scholarship, and with a view to participating in the BTCC in the future as well. So hopefully he's done well on that. We'll perhaps try and get some news of that in the interviews afterwards, if he pops in for an interview. But as you can see, this track, this is the first turn right here, and it's very, very narrow through this chicane, and there's plenty of, shall we say, discouragement from cutting that particular chicane through there. And it's very easy to crash the car also. Down into this very strange bank corner. You feel like you could go in very early, but actually you come out very late as a result. So you have to go in late still and get a late apex and a nice run down this straight. It's very, very long straight, as you can see from here. It just goes on and on. It's actually not a straight, I guess. It's a gentle curve, and that actually can cause a few problems as well, because the track comes kind of through here, definitely, where everyone kind of catches up with each other, and it continues together, and everybody kind of goes into this narrow corridor, which can result in a couple of big accidents over the years. Meervold and Steve Davis in particular had a big accident through there, and then through that very, very fast, very ballsy right-hander. It would even tie to right-hander here. This really works the tyres through these corners here. Absolutely, the tyres are screaming for mercy. This whole final section. This is the final set of corners here. This is the S curves at the end of the circuit, and then you're back onto the Lee straight as well. So it's quite a short track, not many corners on it, but a very technical one as well.
And I wonder, just actually looking at the times and everything, if this could be the weak link in Jesper Tolberg's career path. As we've seen in the past 3 rounds, that Toyota really has shocked the world. And as we said before at the start of the season, no one really expected it to be as quick as it was. It was kind of the weak choice, which most drivers tried to avoid at all costs. So Jesper really revamped it and got the name back on the map, as you can see him in the pit lane there. But obviously the Holdens have a much better power to weight ratio and a much better speed round here. And of course, with a quick track, this is really going to play into the likes of Toby Davis, the likes of William Levesque. And I think Jesper may be the one who could be playing catch up this race, but of course with the driver of Jesper's caliber, anything's possible, and I still wouldn't put a top 5 out of reach for him in terms of qualifying.
I'm actually going to say he'll get top 5 in the race, almost certainly. Not sure what he's doing here, driving on the circuit. Oh, he's practicing his starts. I think he just wants to get as close to the start of the car, find out where to brake for the first corner, perhaps. Anders Nielsen put on a classic battle in Season 2 in his raw steel and sex appeal Holden Commodore. That was a fantastic battle with Ben Crooks, eventually won out by Ben Crooks. Ben was on a hot streak of winning 3 races in a row at that particular point in Season 2. And Anders was the closest challenger to him and got past him a few times, but eventually the tyre wear on the whole just counted for too much against Ben Crooks, who was in the Rover 3500 Vitesse. And Anders had to settle for second place at the time. Not as good form here today, it doesn't seem like to me, but of course, when it comes to the race and you come out of that corner there on the opening lap and everyone's continuing together, Anders going to pick up plenty of positions and annoy plenty of people. So look out for that as one of the stories of the race. Toby Davis has not had very much practice for this race, but it's not halving his speed at all, is it, Liam?
No, currently second, and also provisionally faster through that second sector than the current man on provisional pole, of course, in this session, Tommy O'Hala. So he'll be looking to really try and assert his name here today, and Toby knows that Jesper is at a disadvantage. He needs to utilise this and put it to his advantage, try and get the best result he can, preferably a win, and hope Jesper finishes a bit further down the field to try and recuperate. But lost time, he's already a 10th up again on O'Hala here. So Davis, despite having no practice, that raw driver aggression still within him, and of course that's a very natural thing for a driver like Davis to do. He wants to break that chain and finish in second best in these series. He really wants to try and take a championship, and to do that he really must realise how vital this round is. So he's really going to try and leave it all out on the tarmac tonight.
Absolutely, and of course we're going to talk strategy now as well. We've got 3 minutes to go until qualifying, which will be a 10-minute open session. For those who are not familiar with the World Touring Masters, you're allowed to do as many laps as you like within the 10 minutes of the session. It's not a closed session either, and you will find there are other cars on track, so you may find a bit of slipstreaming also as well. If you get lucky and get behind the Holden and give you a bit of a pull along the straight. In fact, actually, getting behind the Holden and getting the pull isn't the greatest. Then you want to get behind a Sierra or something like that, because the Holden will just pull away in the slipstream anyway. But Toby does not cross the line faster. He's 800ths down, even with that massive slide at the end of the lap. So he's looking very quick. But of course, we're not sure whether these are all at race pace or qualifying laps or what at the moment. So we'll wait to see how this turns out. Toby Davis had a torrid time here in Season 2, made a rapid dash from his house back to his parents' home because he was having internet difficulties at his uni internet connection. So he rushed back to his parents' house, got there just in time, and then had frame rate issues, crashed, and then disconnected anyway. So hopefully today will be a bit better than Season 2 for him. Toby Oyala was jumped up in the championship quite a lot after his good results at Mid-Ohio to 3rd in the championship, and he's looking very strong here in that beautiful Jim Richards JPS BMW 635. It really is a beautiful car.
Oh, and he really is driving it beautifully as well, and I'm sure that's going to be one for the slow motion reel going up on 2 wheels there. But again, as we said, we've seen Tommy steadily improve throughout this season, of course, pick up a great result at Mid-Ohio. He really wants to try and extend that and prove he can run up there with the big boys, and he's definitely showing the world that he can do just that. But now, as he's quite a bit faster there than Toby Davis, it's only 800ths between the two, but nonetheless, that 800ths is the difference in qualifying between a pole position and the 2nd place. Now, when he's touching in qualifying, and have 1 minute to go until the session begins. Obviously, this track is very fast. There's a massive long straight down the back, and I wonder if there could be slipstreaming could be the big factor here today. If you come up behind a slower car, or maybe not a Holden, for instance, if you're in a Holden. But I think the man who's really going to come into play for is Jesper Tolberg. He needs to hopefully try and get in a slipstream down that back straight for as long as possible, right out until you have to break out from it. Otherwise, there'll be certain contact to just break away from that slipstream to get him a little bit more momentum, because right now every tenth he can get is going to push him up that grid, and that's exactly what he needs if he wants to try and maintain that championship lead.
I would definitely agree, but the other issue is, of course, if you do get a great slipstream from a Holden, and you're right behind him coming to the final sector, you actually compromise, because the Holden is so slow through that final sector that you will be actually compromised by that, and you'll lose all the advantage you got from getting the slipstream. So that's another thing to take into account here. And Steve Davis abandons that lap after almost rolling it. And so we'll quickly check in with Toby Davis, who is fastest at the moment through Sector 1. And he's coming towards Sector 2 now also. Sector 2 is kind of halfway around this ballsy right-hander. It's incredibly fast, incredibly fun actually. But it's not great to go sideways through here when you're trying to go fast, because that's not the idea.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's really about consistency. It's so easy because you've got those long straights where you can just put the foot down, let go of the wheel for a little bit, try and recuperate yourself. As Davis pulls alongside us, a cheeky nudge there, and probably a few words between those two. But you can't really let your concentration slide, because there is that very tricky braking point just a few corners later as Toby goes off there.
We're going to qualify
the session.
Yes.
So I think that you've really got to maintain concentration, because yes, you've got that long straight where you can kind of take your mind off things a little bit or try and recuperate yourself. But if you do that, or maybe slip into a quick daisy, which is easy to do if you're having a lonesome race, you can so easily end up in a tyre wall. And whilst this is a very fast track, in terms of actually crashing and the walls and forgiveness of the track, it's not very merciful indeed. There's not too much room for runoffs here, and it's very close in terms of the barriers and the grass. So not too much room for error, and I'm sure the drivers are going to be very well aware of that fact. As you can see, Davis is the first man out on track, no surprise there. He really wants to try and set this one and sign it before the books get even sold. So right now Davis is very determined, and I think he realises what's at stake here. Potential championship could lie on this qualifying session.
Absolutely, he has to get good qualifying here, and then he has to get a good start. You have to do all the simple things. They sound simple, but they're not that simple really, because people get them wrong all the time. And just to illustrate Liam's point about the dangers of this track and the edges of the track and how easy it is, look at the runoff through this corner here. If you go wide, there is nothing. There is no curve, there is no tarmac, there's just grass, and then you're in the gravel. There is nothing, absolutely nothing there to stop you running wide, and nothing on the entry either, just to gauge it. Nothing on the inside there either to gauge it, and then there's nothing until that bit there. So you really have no reference points really. You cannot, on other tracks you push really out wide on the exit because you know there's going to be a curve there, and you have to really rein in that instinct at this particular track, because the grass is right there and you just cannot push further than that, especially at the speed you go through that corner, because you will just lose all of the grip and it goes straight off. So plenty of times during pre-practice so far. But let's watch this qualifying lap now. Chris Butcher's very close to Toby Davis through this qualifying lap. I wonder if he'll get a bit of a slipstream if he gets a good first sector onto the back straight. That will please Chris Butcher no end. Chris had his 100th race at Mid-Ohio, but it did not go to plan whatsoever, did it, Liam?
No, but of course he was actually racing from a hotel room.
No, that was only in the Virtual Clio series he was racing from there. He was actually racing from home in the last WTM race, so no excuses for Mr. Butcher.
No, but I'm sure he'll be looking to try and set that aside and wipe a clean slate here and maybe start drawing on some new foundations as he really wants to try and establish himself back inside that top 15 as a worthy competitor. As we said, that field is very close, not too many points separating some of the big names in there, guys like Florian Strauss, guys like Eric Savite, very pushed up, and this track could be the differentiation here as they try and get the best result possible. As you can see, Davis now trying to eke something up. He will be the first man to set a time, as we said. Practice times, qualifying times are very different, as we've said before, though. Was not too sure whether they're on race pace or qualifying runs or whatever. It's really down to the driver on how you use that session, but Davis is right now using this session to try and get as much from the track as possible. Let's see what this time is.
24.190. It's a good banker. It's a decent banker. We'll look to see. Oh, there we go. Jesper Torborg, 23.609 already. Maybe got a bit of a slipstream from Mate Orban because Mate was right ahead of him also as well. But Jesper Torborg, 23.609, immediately lays that marker down. I think that's a couple of tenths faster than anybody else has gone so far.
Yeah, so definitely really pushing hard right now. And Davis, I think, would love to try and get in there right now and maybe just try and hunt for a podium. Why not? Of course, you want to prove to you itself, and maybe teams from other divisions who are watching this right now, guys, either from the Minis or from the Clios, or maybe looking to drive for next season, may try and be watching this series, see who's got the talent, because these cars are definitely more than a handful to control, and they really want to see what kind of talent lurks here. So Davis, very, very feisty right now, but Tolberg still 5 tenths quicker there. So Jesper Tolberg really used in that slipstream to his advantage, and he really wants to try and extend that further and get the biggest gap possible to establish, look, I can win this race. I've got the car there. It may not be the fastest, but I am the fastest driver here, so let's see what he can do.
That's an excellent lap time there from Jesper. Of course, we don't know that he definitely had a slipstream, but he's not gone faster on this lap. So the suspicion is there, but we don't actually know for certain. He might have just done that all by himself. And it's not to be discounted from Jesper Torborg, of course. He can do that sort of thing. He's doing 23.588 without slipstream, so there you go. There is your answer. There is your answer. Jesper Torborg does not need a slipstream to set a fast lap time here. He is using the Supra beautifully through those corners, and then using the low drag as well, despite the low power of the Supra on the straights, to minimise, of course, his disadvantage, of course, the rest of the field. And then through that final section of corners, he's just floating the car beautifully and really schooling these guys out here today. This is a fantastic display from Jesper Torborg already.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to go on right now again. He knows what he wants to do. This will be his 4th victory out of 4 if he can seal the deal here today, and his 2nd win in a row here at the Salzburgring.
Look at that.
So
he's
definitely
4 tenths faster through the first sector than Toby Davis.
And Davis is in a slipstream as well, that's what I was noticing. Davis is trying to reel in there. I believe that's Chris Butcher just in front of him. And you can see that just how much momentum Jesper carried. He was definitely looking feisty there. Right now Davis needs to find something more. There's only 5 minutes left. Maybe around 3 more laps to go, as you can see Butcher go very wide there. And allowing Davis to go through, hopefully not hinder his lap time. But I think the most exciting driver...
Sorry, Davis is still not faster through that middle sector even. So, and he's not. The car is not as fast through the final sector as the Toyota. So there was no chance of Davis beating Jesper Torborg lap time here.
Yeah, he's going to need to try and at least have 1 more lap though. He's really pushing the car there. You can see the back end almost squirming out the front tyres, flipping the opposite direction as he comes across the start-finish line. He does go second. He's now only 4 tenths away from Jesper Torborg. But look at the man who's just provisionally gone 500ths quicker. Ross McGregor in P6 currently, 500ths quicker. Let's see what he can do here then. He's not looking too tightly through there, but nonetheless a couple of cars just in front of him, so he can maybe try and use those to his advantage. We'll see what kind of pace Ross has right now in that BMW. Still trying to fling the car over that chicane and really try and push as he comes onto the final straight here. A bit of a wiggle there, and I'm sure that's a moment to remember as he flies across the line. That's going to hinder his time, and he stays stick. The 124.3 goes down to 7th actually, after Eric Tveit moves up to 2nd, beating Toby Davis's time by just 3 300th of a second. So again, the field as close as they can possibly be right now. Travai again on two wheels through that chicane. Really
signature Travai style.
It's just really been impressive this year, though, hasn't he, Travai? If you remember back to the first round, he made that epic charge through the field. That wasn't so impressive, but nonetheless, Eric Travai is making a great session here today and shaking out that top five queue currently. Tolberg, Travai, Davis, Steve Davis, and William Levesque. But 3 minutes to go, anything can happen until that checkered flag falls, and I'm sure we're going to see a prime example of that as Anders Nielsen is very sideways, and that's a big
issue with the Holden
into the wall.
That is the issue with the Holden. Of course, the Holden weighs up to 400 kilos more than some of the cars here, but of course it does have over 150 brake horsepower more than some of the cars here, so that's a big contrast in styles. And he did mention in the pre-practice that trying to stop this car for this first chicane was like trying to stop a train, and he's not having much fun trying to break that car. But Eric Travai, I've told Eric Travai I expect at least a podium here today. He's in the car that won this race in season 2, so he really shouldn't have any excuses not to do well at this particular track. It really is suited very well to the track. It's fast-flowing corners, which suits the Rover, and of course it has the long straights, which has plenty of low drag. Does the Rover, and a bit more power than the Supra. So really, overall, it's a faster car at this particular track. It's all down to the driver. Steve Davis is purple through the second sector. Of course, that's the good sector for the Holden Commodore, but still stays in that 4th place at the moment. Levesque is still 5th, and he's just gone past Eric Travai. That's Ethan Bass, should I say? That's Ethan Bass and the other Supra. But just a contrasting fortunes as well, Liam. We've got, of course, Jesper Torborg, top of the table, seems permanently at the moment, but Ethan Bass is back in 27th in the same car. Can you explain that? And Jonathan Moss from 23rd. Dmitry Botnarenko 21st, and he's no slouch at all. Manizewski 18th. I mean, how do we explain that sort of thing? Is it just a genius of Jesper? Oh, I believe we may have lost Liam Jenkins at the moment. We have lost Liam Jenkins. Just when I was asking him a very probing question, he just disappeared. He'll hopefully be back in a few seconds' time. And who was that? Just moved up into the top 6. That is Tomio Oyala. And Steve Davis is now back to 5th because William Levesque's gone up into that 4th position, as you can see. So, but Steve Davis is faster than that middle sector, of course. That's the strong sector for the Holden Commodore. Just asking you, Liam, I don't know if you heard the question. And we've got, of course, Jesper Torborg. Well, we'll ask you warm-up, actually. We'll just cover the last minute of qualifying here before we start getting all philosophical. Steve Davis come through the final couple of sectors, final couple of corners here. And over the line he's going to cross now. And he stays in that 5th place. He's always very consistent lap time. He's actually 4th now because Ross McGregor has taken that 4th place away from William Levesque. We've also got Florian Strauss in 9th at the moment. He'll be looking... Oh, he can't do better than that. So it looks like, to me, we're not going to see too much improvement at the moment. Chris Butcher crossed the line for a final run. He's only in 10th at the moment. He'll want to improve on that, definitely.
Yeah, indeed he will. He really wants to try and prove to himself that he can still drive this car fast. Of course, he had a nightmare back at mid and high. He really wants to put that behind him, as we said, and start a clean. To do that, he really wants to boost that kind of motivation that you have as a driver's mindset. If you don't get 2 good results in a row, it can really start to dent your confidence and your confidence in yourself and your driving ability. And you really want to get that as high as possible. And I think everyone here knows, including Chris, that he is capable of these big results. Of course, one of the most illustrated drivers here in TPS history after doing 100 races just a couple of weeks ago, and he'll be looking to try and improve once again as Davis still stays stable. He's got one more shot, so it really is a last chance saloon, if you pardon the pun. Let's see what Davis can do here then. Through the chicane he goes, very tightly through here. The thing is, he goes so loose, and he's into the wall. And of course, the car almost went weightless as he went onto 2 wheels. And whilst it's good to be aggressive through that chicane, that's the consequence of going too aggressive.
And I don't think he would have got the lap in anyway because the timer ticks over just before he crossed the line. Steve Davis goes up into 4th. There we go. Steve Davis has just usurped the driver in behind him there, Ross McGregor, up into 4th. So Steve Davis will be a threat at the start of this race. That will not please the Supra driver of Jesper Torborg, and Eric Travai out of the final corner. He's not been faster through second sector. He needed to be to improve, and he stays in second. 7th place with Chris Butcher. 24.130, exactly the same time as his THR and Sierra teammate William Levesque. How close can you get? Is Anders Nielsen still out on track? He is not. I believe that is that. Yes, Florian Strauss will not get that lap in. We saw us in the pits earlier. So, pole position for Jesper Torborg in this Toyota Supra. That really is a fantastic result for. No, 11th place. There goes Ole Marius Miervold at the death. He just jumps ahead of his Poland compatriot Anders Nielsen. So look out for Miervold to have a good result here today also as well. He got his 6th place in race 1 last year. So definitely got form to do well here. But look out for Stephen Davis at the start of this race, especially onto this back straight right here. Because if he gets a decent start, hold station, he will just blast past at least 2 drivers on that straight and harass the rest of the field. So that's going to be a problem for all of those drivers ahead of him. So here is the grid now. He's going to run through it for us, Liam.
Yes, the official confirmation then, so it was Jesper Torborg again, the man on the pole. Of course, chance wasn't on his side. He has a bit of a slower car here, but nonetheless playing out a momentous 4/10 difference between himself and Eric de Veit in the Rover. So 4 different cars in at the 4. Of course, just behind Eric, you've got Toby Davis's Ford Sierra and Steve Davis with a great result there. So Steve looking quick today, looking to try and maybe sneak a podium in here. I wouldn't put it past him. He's a very talented driver. Just behind him, Ross McGregor again. He's had a great season so far. Wants to further extend that one today. William Levesque starts behind him. Wouldn't write him out, of course. He's still very quick here. A Champions winner, and he really does want to try and extend that today. Maybe move himself up the field. Chris Butcher, with a late effort, comes in P7 in front of Tommy O'Hala. Julius Raval sits in P9, and then you got, of course, Florian Strauss in P10. Ole Marius Miervold, of course, in the final moments, picking up P11 in front of Anders Nielsen's Holden, who went for a bit of a trip over the chicane. Mate Orban in P13 in the Volvo 240 Turbo sits in front of David Yin, and there was some speculation if he could make this race, so great to see him turn up and put in a good time there for P14. Raul Pereira is P15 in the Ford Sierra in front of Kevin Enderman and Bruno Souza Ferreira. Botanenko is P18 in front of Jay Adji and Luis Fernandez, who rounds out the top 20. Lee Palmer sits just behind him in 23rd, and of course just behind him is Thomas Mitsuski in the Toyota Supra with a 1 minute 25.179 on road. 11 in the grid, they've got Adam Vaughan and Ike Roding. Tony Matthews in P25 and Tristan Clark in the Nissan Skyline in P26. 27th place there is Alberto Aznaghi. Jonathan Motterum in 28th position in front of Mike Bell and Jonathan Oppiklint, who round out the top 30. And the final 3 drivers on the grid are Ethan Bass, Jeff Dobbing, Scott Savick, and 34 is Costal. So I think that is the rounding.
I believe number 34. It should be us actually. It should be multi-BC, but clearly not. But I think 34 was Matt Emmons. He didn't quite get a chance to qualify for this, so with a disappointment there for Matt. What I want to quickly ask you, Liam, is you noticed on that list we've got Jesper Torborg at the head of the field in a Toyota Supra. That's surprising in itself. Then the next best Supra in the field is Dmitry Botnarenko in 18th, and he's no slouch. How do we explain this? We've got Botnarenko in 18th, Manizewski in 22nd. They're both decent drivers, top 10. They've got plenty of top 10s and you know, plenty of records elsewhere outside of the TPS as well. You've got, of course, Jonathan Mott in 28th, Ethan Bass 31st. These are the same car, exactly the same car as Jesper Torborg has. What is the difference?
Well, I think the difference there, you've just said it, 2 words, Jesper Torborg, and it just shows them that what machine you put him in, I think he'd really be in a tricycle right now and still be slightly competitive. And it just really is great to see how he's pushed that car once again beyond all fan expectation and team expectation. We said at the start of the season, no one really wanted to go for that car. It was always the underdog. It wasn't really that pacey in previous seasons. Jesper took it on himself, and not only is he leading the championship, not only has he won the opening 3 rounds, he's taken another pole position here today. He's 17 positions in front of the nearest Supra, and he just keeps on improving. And there's nothing you can put in front of this man that he won't demolish. You could put a brick wall in front of him and he would just flatten it in seconds. It's incredible stuff, and I think if you're going to choose one example to credit the pure talent and racing knowledge of Jesper Torborg, it's this result right here. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The nearest competitor is 17 places away in terms of another Supra, and not only is there just a sheer pace as well, he's actually quicker by around 0.4 of a second, if I remember rightly, from Eric de Veit. So it's just absolutely incredible how much pace that man has got.
Absolutely. I just wanted to quickly demonstrate this pit entry here, and it's quite narrow as you can see because Matej Orban and Tomasz Vanizewski, that's in the blue car, have just got to come in together in the pits. Tomasz Vanizewski couldn't make it. Matej Orban's been practicing it, and obviously he's got it completely spot on, and this is the narrow pit entry. You come very quickly into it as well because the speed of the pit lane is also very quick. So that's a difficulty people also have to deal with here today. We are about to go into the race. It's a formation lap to set it up before we get actually on the ground. Raul Pereira, who qualified in 22nd, by the way, have shown so much promise throughout the season. Only 22nd here today. We've not shown too much to the people outside of the top 16 so far here today. We do apologise for that, but it's been quite... Oh, hello. People driving into each other also on the track. It's a bit daft. I think Rob Pro is actually 15th grid, not 22nd, should I say. A bit of a disservice to him there, but we are going to go to the grid right now. Just quickly, while we're on this formation lap, we'll quickly tell you about some of the events coming up. On Saturday, we have the virtual mini challenge. That's round 5 of 6. So we're getting towards the nitty-gritty of the championship, really. Peter Davilar's got a good lead. Controversy reigned at Londrina. It's a fantastic race, but afterwards, plenty of drivers got a few slaps on the wrists for exceeding track boundaries. Brasilia is a very simple track. It's literally, pretty much, a square. Literally a square. So you go around that, and it's all about slipstreaming and just choosing your moment, basically. So look out for that. That's on Saturday. That's 11:15 GMT. It's 11:15 UK time. That's at 21:15 Brazilian time. And also, if I do quick maths here, it's at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time in the USA. So look out for that also. And we'll also catch on YouTube if you can't stay up that late to watch that. But make sure you do. Commentary from Toby Davis and either myself or his brother Ben Davis. Hopefully I'll be racing in that one so you can come and laugh at me. And the next event we have after that is in a week's time from Knock Hill, the Virtual Clio Series. Also its penultimate event. Toby Davis just needs 40 points from a possible 124 to win the championship. So he really is on a roll there. And I'm also racing in that one. So look out for that also. 19:45 at 7:45 UK time. And that's from Knock Hill. Next Wednesday, we'll see Scott Woodwis and Keith Barrick in the commentary booth for that one. Although Liam did commentate on the last race. Liam, how did that one go for you?
Yeah, really good as well. It's been quite a few races since I commentated on the Virtual Clios, so just to see the same standard of racing maintained, the same competitive edge and the same motivation that all the drivers had still remained at the same levels, which really did make it again one of those races which will go down in the history books. And of course, as you said, Davis, only needing 40 points, will be looking to try and carry that momentum into the World Touring Masters. Starts on the second row of the grid behind his main championship competitor Jesper Talberg. 15 points separate them, and he'd love to take a chunk out of that today, but of course in practice it was looking promising. In qualifying it was a whole different story, and now the odds aren't really in his favour. Let's see if he can maybe shake them round.
Yep, so we're coming up to form the grid here right now, and Eric Tvite's on that front row. They'll be looking for a good start. Steve Davis also be looking for a good start. Don't be surprised to see Toby Davis leading to turn 1. Hopefully we don't get too much carnage into that turn 1. It's very narrow, but we have quite a good record of getting through this turn 1 without relatively incident-free on this particular track, which is surprising considering that. Oh, that's a great sight, isn't it? Look at that grid forming up right there. That's a beautiful sight. We've got 33 races here today, and we have got a packed grid of the World Touring Masters, the classic cars of the Group A era of the touring car in the 1980s, and we are about to start this race. Let's go on board with Eric Tvite and watch for those lights. Not quite sure where the lights are actually from here. I can't quite see them, so we're going to have to try and guess where the lights go out. And we're ready for a start now. Everyone's formed up on the grid. Revs are rising, you can see the cars moving around away from the grid. They go. Toby Davis up to a good start there. Also, yes, off to a great start. That's going to count for a lot as we go down towards turn 1. Steve Davis has been left. Ross McGregor with a superb start down towards turn 1. They come, and it's Toby Davis on the inside of Jesper Torborg into the first turn, and Jesper's been on the brakes. There's been a big accident behind. It's Levesque on the wall. 5-year round. Oh, Oyala as well, and there's Lee Palmer. Everyone is trying to get the way through. It's not too bad. It could have been a hell of a lot worse, I have to say. Oh, it is bad. Look, all piling up in behind. Oh,
An
dearie
absolute
me.
carnage.
Dearie me. Who on earth caused that? That's unacceptable driving, really. Let's see if we can try to get a quick replay of what happened there. I don't think we are going to get one. It's going to be difficult to go back in the field and find one. Oh, we've got a... This is right in the mix, actually. Let's quite quickly just have a look at this. As we go into turn one, might be a bit of a lag here, but it might give us a bit of an indication. Oh, it's up front. It's happened up here, look. Here it is, just in front of this group. It seems like Strauss. Oh, it's Rivio. Rivio has hit Oyala. Rivio's gone far too deep in the brakes, hit Oyala, and that's caused absolute chaos. So Rivio will be in big trouble for that one. So we'll go back to live action now. This is Florian Strauss who's involved in that, and he's way back in 28th. So back to the front of the field. Sorry to talk about that for so long, but it's Jesper Torkop who leads, Liam.
Indeed, it's a dream start so far, but he's been hunted down this back straight. And of course, it will be the likes of Tavai and Davis who will hold that momentum. Of course, Holden does have that extra speed. Eric Tavai's Rover will be looking to rove into the distance. He tries to catch Davis. These three pulling away from the rest of the field. McGregor up to 4th. Butcher up to 5th from 7th. Steve Davis, I think, got a bit caught up, and you can see
Davis has
there.
This is right here.
Uncharacteristic there from Jesper Tolberg, and Davis tries to capitalise. He's not close enough yet, but he's got one more opportunity. Here we go then. Davis, Tavai and Tolberg all looking with the same idea to take the lead of this race.
How close
Davis flips to the outside, and he's definitely looking good right now. Tavai waiting to capitalise on an opportunity.
Tavai will go through as well. Tavai will go through as well. Watch this.
Pushing him along.
Watch this.
This is going to be insane. Can he try and take the lead though? He's going to break so much later.
Oh, he's going through!
Tavai's
taking the lead! What a move!
Tavai's in the lead and Tolberg's back. Tolberg's in 2nd, and I don't know how he's done that. Tavai is capitalised, and Tolberg goes up the inside. Tavai tries to shut the door, and he's holding on by the skin of his teeth right now. Tolberg charges through. Tavai with the inside line for the next corner, and I think that's a swipe of the head there. That was risky stuff. Tavai from 3rd to 1st in the space of a few corners. Davis sits in 3rd, but Jesper Tolberg down in 2nd. Can Davis feel the momentum right now as they complete lap 2 onto lap 3 we go? On the inside into the chicane. It's a little bit risky. Can Toby Davis make it stick though? It's a long run. He's going to hold that inside line. Up the inside he goes. Oh, a big squirt there. But he just about holds it. Ooh. And so, yes, Tolberg, we said that car's at a disadvantage. Can he try and gain it back though? Right now, Eric Tavai, as we said, that hard charger from Spa, looking to try and take a victory. Davis has gone wide. Can Tolberg capitalise?
Look at Tavai, he's disappearing. Tavai's disappearing. Goodbye, boys. You look up into that corner, I'm gone. Tavai is away. What beautiful racing there, Liam, side by side and swapping positions corner after corner, and they are not slow corners at all. Those are extremely fast corners. You go into these corners at well over 250 kilometers an hour, and that is beautiful racing between 3 very accomplished drivers and 3 TPS favourites. Eric Tavai got 2 podiums in the virtual mini challenge last time he raced, but unfortunately they were taken away from him. There was his first podiums in the TPS, they were taken away from him. So today is his opportunity for his first TPS podium, and Davis did very well there. So hold on, Jesper Torkop, who tried to go on the inside into the corner entering this section here. And as these two continue to battle, it's allowing Ross McGregor and Chris Butcher to catch up. Steve Davis has not had the start of the race that we thought he may do. Olimaris Meervold, fast lap of the race there for Eric Tavai. Not surprising, it's a beautiful lap there for him. So we got Davis, Meervold and Anders Nielsen in line on the track 6, 7 and 8. In behind them is Rivio and Agi. That will annoy Rivio and Agi no end, I'm pretty sure. Back to the lead of the race. This is a fascinating battle. Fascinating. This is going to be a fantastic race. 29 laps here today, by the way. So plenty of time for this all to turn around, and plenty of time for us to enjoy this excitement, Liam.
Oh, indeed, and I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of it either. As you can see, Davis goes a little bit deep into that bank hairpin each time, and Tolberg does get a bit of a look. But right now, Davis's real hope of trying to pull away from Jesper is going to be the man sat in front of him in a charging Rover. Eric Tavai, we talk of charging, Ross McGregor fancies his chance and holding off Chris Butcher. Butcher looks around on the outside. He's going to be a bit risky there, almost touching, almost pushing off the track there. McGregor holds on. but he doesn't hold on to the position. Butcher charges through with steam as he looks on to the back of Jesper Talberg. Now let's see if he can catch this battle, because Talberg is really giving Davis a hard time out front now. The top 5 pulling away. They're separated by just 2.5 seconds, the top 5. And right now Butcher looks to try and join that battle, though Ross McGregor's going to let him go without some sort of fight. And Chris Butcher slammed the door shut there. And Ross McGregor may have had a bit of a shock. Let's see if he can get it back again. Eric Tveit sets the fastest lap of 1:24.741. That man is flying right now, and he deserves it as well. He wants to try and capitalise, and what of a shock this will be as well. He'll be the only man, other than Jesper Talberg, to take a win in this series if he can hold on for 24 more laps.
That's a big if, though, isn't it? We've seen this several times already this season so far. Jesper Talberg drops back in those opening exchanges, and then later in the race just goes poof and disappears like a magician. And Chris Butcher is looking to try and catch on to this group. As we were saying, the gap is 1.8 seconds now. These two really should work together, Ross McGregor and Chris Butcher, push each other along rather than racing each other. They should push each other to the back of this group and then start racing each other. That's how it really should work. But of course, races are races. They don't like to give up any ground whatsoever, do they?
No, indeed they don't. See, just behind them, Steve Davis, as we said, he got a bit of a bad start, but he's definitely looking to recuperate from that one. He's got a prime time as well, because whilst those guys just behind, well, in front of him, the top 5 there, you've got Ross McGregor and Chris Butcher. At the end, they're around 20 seconds away from Tveit at the moment, who's seemingly sailing away into the sunset. This does give Nilsson, they can see, a bit of an opportunity to guys like Davis, Nilsson and Merivale just in front in that bright pink car to try and catch on to them or race together. They've got to be sensible about this, as you can see, Jonas Raivio looking for Ian so far for what seemed to be his mistake earlier on. Of course, we'll need official reviews after the race, but Jesper Talberg seems to be biting right back at Eric Tveit now, 1:24.5. But of course, Jesper's got a bit of a rock in front of him now. As we said, we can put a brick wall in front of him, we'll sure we'll demolish it. Let's see if things can put this to the test then. There's Toby Davis, who's pretty sure going to hold on to that position like a rock and not move. Let's see if Jesper can just pretty much barge him out of the way. As you saw a bit of action up there, a bit of smoke, so someone's had a little bit of a run off, hopefully nothing too extreme. But you take a look at JRG, and that's a big moment there as he kept it on. Yes, he has, but scary nonetheless, and that has allowed David Yoon to climb up into P11 to start P14. 3 position gain for him. Definitely going well so far. So these midfield competitors, as we said, consistency is the key, especially around a circuit like this. And it's the guys at the moment, like Ollie Merivale, like Anders Nilsson, who are really taking the motor on this.
And Levesque was one of those drivers involved in that incident, of course, and he was one of the drivers who had to wait the longest. And he's back up to 13th already. He's charging back through this field here. Jonathan Ross in 14th. Vaughan here is in 15th position. He's got a bit of damage on the back of his car. Strauss is right in behind him, so that's the next target for Strauss, Adam Vaughan. 17th is Mate Orban, and here we've got plenty of battles through the field as it is mixed up completely. You can see the rest of the field on screen here. 18th is Brutus House Ferreira. Kevin Enderman's having a look at him. Oh, Enderman completely off the track. Ferreira almost scared off on the other side of the track also as well. Enderman in that skyline, and Ferreira says, that's my corner. Thank you very much. Your skyline is rubbish round here. 19th is Kevin Enderman, as we were saying, sorry. 20th is Alberto Asnahi. He's looking to go through. 21st is Ethan Bass. He's just outside the points paying positions at the moment. 22nd is Orca Clint. As you can see in that Mustang, always a handful. 23rd is Jeff Tobing. 24th is Tony Matthews with big damage on his car. Wow, that has got a big dent in the front left of that car. 25th is Scott Cervic. 26th here is Lee Palmer. 27th, Mike Bell. 28th, Ike Rodin. 29th, it's Tristan Clark. Retired from the race is Botnarenko, Malizevsky, Luis Fernandez, and Raul Pereira. Very sad to see those drivers out, especially those 2 Portuguese drivers there. They love racing in the Touring Pro Series. And look at the gap that Eric Tveit's got here right now. You can see it, Liam. Don't need it for. Don't need to look at the timing. Look at the gap.
Yeah, over a second already. Tveit wanting to run away with this one. He knows that if Jesper Talberg can disperse from Toby Davis, which he may do here, up the inside again, Davis goes deep into that corner. He keeps doing it, and if Toby Davis cuts across sharply, almost a little bit of contact there if there was. That would have sent Toby pivoting, but he holds that outside line. These two race together so many times. They know each other's driving styles inside and out, and Toby is probably one of the only men in the field not to be fazed by Jesper Talberg's presence. Of course, Jesper is a very keen young man. He's almost like our own Iceman has said so many times before. He'll just sit there and let the opportunity come to him, and he's definitely done that right now. He's got a great run into the next corner. Can he get it done? No. Davis once again holding on bravely. And what you notice though, if you compare these to some of the other drivers who have seen Jesper try and disperse. In the past, they tend to lock up a bit more. The corners go a bit more deeper. I haven't actually seen Davis lock up in quite a while, not to put a commentator's curse on it, which I have, and there he goes, deep again
Right
into
there.
that one. And Jesper Talberg, a little bit of momentum shift there. All he's got to do is be there, and he's definitely one of the most composed sim racers that I've ever come across. We'll see how that fares right now, but the one disadvantage, as we said back in practice, is going to be that speed of the Supra is not as great as the car that's underneath Toby Davis right now. He wants to try and push that towards Tavai, but Tavai really has taken the speed of that Rover to a whole other level.
And the problem though here is, of course, we were going to talk strategy in the warm-up. We didn't get a chance actually in the end. It was so packed. The problem here is that people fear that Jesper Talberg will not need to pit, and they fear that they will need to pit. If that's the case, then surely Jesper Talberg has this sewn up already. Because if he doesn't need to pit, then these drivers do need to pit. Then at 1.8 seconds is completely irrelevant, the gap to Eric de Veit. So for their sakes and for the race's sakes, for the championship's sakes, hopefully that's not the case, because that really would spoil the race for us here today. Yes, but Chris Butcher is still leading Ross McGregor by a few tenths of a second. Steve Davis is still very lonely in that 6th position, but I guess he's probably still pretty pleased to be in that 6th position. Easily his best run of the season so far. Meervold is in 7th. Ravio has got past Anders Nielsen. Oh, look at this back in behind here also as well. Rob looking back from Tommy Oyala at David Yunt.
Let's see what Yunt can do here then. Looking very feisty as they go through the opening corner complex. Let's see what Oyala can do against you can take a look on board. He's try and hold off David Yunt for as soon as possible. You can take a look back now from Anders Nielsen, who's heading these. He's going great through out here. Nielsen goes a little bit wider. Kind of sniffs the opportunity, but I'm sure Anders Nielsen very much on top of the situation.
Here is a demonstration of the grunt of the Holden Commodore. That car behind is in the slipstream and being pushed a little bit by the car behind also in David Yunt. And look at the gap he pulls out.
It's almost like putting some sort of turbo boost within the car, but right now he's definitely trying to get a boost. Is David Yunt. He's weaving, ducking and diving all over the place, trying to get past as Nielsen fancies his chances with Rovio.
Oh, look at the sideways movement there.
Oh. And now these four heavily...
Oh,
and Nielsen just held on. We said there's not very much room for error here, but Nielsen, an experience at one of the more pleasant places off the circuit, and just found the gravel track. He's taking a replay, I believe, right here. So you can see Jay Agee coming up right behind him now. I think he came in with a bit too much steam, sent the opportunity on the inside and just hit him there, unfortunately. And he went flying into gravel, kept it out of the wall though. But nonetheless, it's going to keep him way back down the field. And you can see now David Yunt and Tommy O'Hala once again doing battle. David Yunt up the inside, fancies his chances and cuts across. There's Tommy O'Hala. That's a very risky move, especially into that chicane we saw many times in practice sessions earlier. Cars going onto two wheels and often spearing across the racetrack. So side by side through there, let's just surely ask for problems. But Tommy O'Hala managed that one very well.
And now Eric de Veit has built a 2-second lead. As you can see, oh, here we go. This could be it. This could be the moment. Torborg's got the run and also the slipstream, and this is it. There we go. Torborg is through into second place, lap 10 of 29. So finally, the Davis resistance, the Davis brick wall you were talking about, has been broken down. Chipped away with his chisel, finally got the hammer out and knocked it over completely. And now Torborg will be looking to pursue Eric de Veit. What has de Veit got for Jesper Torborg, the reigning champion, the 4-time TPS champion, and the reigning champion of the World Touring Masters? No driver has ever won a title twice in the same series, never mind retain the title. So this could be a season of history for Jesper Torborg in the Touring Pro Series. He goes very deep there though, and Toby Davis is going to take the position back once again. Surely this is going to be disastrous for Torborg's race. There we go. Oh, he's made the mistake. That is so uncharacteristic. And now Toby Davis has gone too deep at the corner. But of course he has more power on the straight, so this could be very interesting indeed. Down the straight they come.
Let's see what Davis can do then. Of course, these two just fighting so hard right now. They know what's at stake. They're two championship contenders. Torborg on 90 points. Davis 15 points drift needs a win here today. He senses that, feels the tension, feels the emotion.
Oh, it's so tight.
He's almost off the track. They're squeezing him, and he's trying to drag race into the next corner. Davis on the inside, and Talberg somehow, I don't know how he held on to that one. Absolutely remarkable stuff there by the four-time champion, and he's just absolutely relentless this afternoon, isn't he? Just as relentless as ever, as he tries now to finally put Davis behind him, take that rock which he's crushed down and rebuild it into a fine masterpiece in terms of the first race trophy. But to do that, he needs to catch Eric Tveit and pass him, which is no easy task indeed. He's pulled out 2 seconds already, but we're going to find out if that was 2 seconds equivalents back to Davis or 2 seconds back to Talberg, because Talberg now provisionally is in clean air.
Absolutely, and this time I don't think he'll make the same mistake. Of course, all he's been doing this race so far is following. He's done the same thing. He's done the same thing. Oh, but Davis did even worse, way over the curbs, and has whacked the wall extremely hard. He knew he had to go faster there to keep up with Jesper, and that's it. That is it for Toby. He can now not catch Jesper through the rest of this race, one would feel, unless they both have to pit, of course. They both have to pit. It gives a completely different complexion to it. And Steve Davis has got past Ross McGregor and caught Chris Butcher. What has happened here? Maybe McGregor and Butcher have been got together a little bit and knocked them back towards Steve Davis. And Steve Davis has said, "Oh, thank you very much, boys. I'll take that." And what I'm going to do right now is apply the loud pedal and go Stevie past you on the outside. Thank you very much, boys. That 4th place is mine. I'm back to where I started in the race. And that's the demonstration of the holding power for you.
Indeed, I'm sure Butcher would have double taked him. Where would that come from? Right now they try to get back in front, darts to the inside. Oh, that's a bit rough through there, but just makes it stick. And now McGregor is going to carry that extra momentum. Will he try and move even now? He doesn't. Very well held there by Steve Davis, provisionally up to 5th, sends his 4th position, wants to recuperate after the start he had, and unfortunately just wasn't to go his way, looking to try and change his fortune, so blow the winds of change here around the Salzburgring, and maybe sniff a podium. A bit too far adrift at the moment though, they're around 7 seconds away from Toby Davis and Jesper Talberg, as Rivio has a major moment there. And there you can see in the background Anders Nilsson. Will he have enough momentum? But right now, momentum talking. David Yen up the inside here. Well, Tommy O'Hala is a drag race. O'Hala has a little bit more speed. As they go into the corner, you can see there David Yen trying to find something more into the chicane. Holds the car very nicely, but look how much more momentum Tommy O'Hala got through there, and he wants to try and maintain that as they come down this long piece of racetrack right now. And it must seem torturous for them when they hit the back straight. That is a banked hairpin where Toby Davis keeps locking up, and I think that could be the reason why Jesper Talberg was able to cling onto it for as long as he did, well, for as short as he did, if you will. As you can see, David Yen just try and catch O'Hala. As you can see there, just a bit further, well, a bit further up the field, is actually Steve Davis, who repassed Chris Butcher, and Butcher looking to try, and a big moment there, and it's a bit of a drift, but Butcher's gone wide as well, and now still trying to hold offside, switches to the inside, does he? No, nothing going for him there, trying to hold that outside line and carry that momentum through.
Oh, that's tricky, don't try that. Oh, he thought about it, he can't do it there, despite the extra speed that Sierra has over the holder. And Steve Davis never lets you get past without exchanging a bit of paint. He's very generous like that. He'll give you a bit of paint, he'll take a bit of yours, you know. A bit of a trade going on there. And it's a good job that Tommy O'Hala's paint job is such a nice one, because David Jones must be sick of it by now. He's been stuck behind that car in the same place for over the same amount of laps for God knows how long. And it seems like Eric Tveit is as fast as Jesper Talberg, by the way. Look, he's got a 2.2 second lead still. And so it seems like Tveit has the pace. And now this is a problem right here for Chris Butcher and Ross McGregor, because they've got Steve Davis ahead of them coming out this turn right now. And goodbye, boys. They latch onto the slipstream, of course, but it was not going to do too much good, because it's helping though. It is helping, but there we go, pulling away now as we get towards the top end of this straight. Steve Davis is an Australian who lives in LA. Chris Butcher just back from the Aspirinian Grand Prix, of course, after winning the Red Bull Gridsters UK Championship.
And look how much motor he's got through there. Great view there. It says be a better driver on the front of his bonnet. Oh! He's a better driver. And a great shift up the inside there.
Oh,
and he's gone wide. He's saved it. No, he may switch the other way. No, but he loses a position. how he hung on to that one, I will never know. That was incredible stuff to hold on to. Great reaction times, but a silly mistake there. And Steve Davis seemingly taking no damage, but now it's a different opponent chasing him down.
And of course, you just cannot push the Holden out of the way. It is so heavy. You can't. If you try a pushing contest with the Holden, never mind Steve Davis, because Steve Davis is one of those who just can't push out of the way. But with the Holden, you're always going to lose out, and that is the case right there. And that opportunity is not really a passing opportunity, unfortunately. You have to be completely alongside. You can't use the brakes to go into the corner and get alongside. You have to be already alongside before you even turn in for that corner. So it really is not a passing opportunity. But of course, it's so frustrating, of course, because the Holden is so slow in a straight line, and so slow in the corner, but so fast in a straight line. There's no other way past. You end up trying not daft things, but out of ordinary things, just to try and get past. Mirvold is nice and lonely at the moment.
You just need to, especially with the power of that Holden, as you've said all afternoon. It's just been so powerful, and it really does show dividend down this straight here as you take a look at Anders Nilsson trying to chase down David Jens still, as Nilsson looks to the inside out, very sharp. Of course, we left that a split second later, that would have ended horrifically, but no, Nilsson nonetheless has the experience, know when that dead point is, makes it stick, but also David Jens' experience there, tries to reclaim it. He goes up the inside here. Can he make it stick? That's so close. Almost trading pace. A little bit of a kiss there. But could it be a kiss goodbye? As David Jens goes on once again and tries to now catch a back of Tomio Yala. But now they've got a new goal once again. Of course, Rivio has been passed by all of these, but it's not letting go at all. As he now has a great run on the back of Nilsson. Looks to the outside there. And oh, no!
Into the pits!
He's in the wall!
Into the pits!
He's carousing around. He's got it going again. A complete pirouette. Here at the Salzburgring, here's a replay, but if that's another incident for Rivio, he's going to have a very heated session with the stewards. But did he cut the anti-cut strip?
I think what happened is that you went to the pit, so Nielsen jabbed the brakes. You just look at Rivio. Yeah, because so Nielsen must have jabbed the brakes. Oh, of course, yeah, because Junt went to the pits, hit the back. Oh, Nielsen has hit the back, of course, of David Junt. That sent him back into Rivio and spun him around. So Rivio not to blame there. Junt actually had to go into the pits because he was going in to get fresh rubber.
And Rivio just essentially parted the Red Sea as one car went one way, one car went the other, straight through the middle, back into 59. Thank you very much, he says, although not the circumstances any racing driver wants to gain a position from, but a position nonetheless. You take a look back through the field, that gap has gone up actually. De Veit is now 2.7 seconds clear of Jesper Talbot, so he's feeling this energy right now, that adrenaline of leading a Touring Pro Series.
Commentator's curse once again there from Liam Jenkins. He goes down to 2.5 as soon as he says that. Toby Davis
has not been my day. As Davis pulls into the pit lane, and he's not going to be liking that one. I wonder where he's going to come out though, as you can see a couple of cars pulling behind him. There's Chris Butcher, and I'm sure there's a funny hello there, and just behind him, the rear end of it. That's very close indeed, and a bit of a skid mark left there as he comes out the pit lane. Got to be careful though. Of course, this pit lane is a bit deadly if you come out, because there's speeding cars at maximum speeds going in towards that chicane. He comes out just in front of Funes Rivio. He's had his fair share of action in the first stint, to say the least. Toby needs to get that rubber heated up as soon as possible and try and catch the back of Tommy Ohala. And again, Tommy been quite the formidable defender this afternoon.
So we're in the middle of pit stops here at the moment. A little bit later than we thought they would come because it's 29 lap race. And of course we're on lap 16, 17. So people are a little bit later. You should expect to be around about halfway. But maybe they just felt that the cars were alright for now and they could go push really hard right at the end. And it's important for Toby that he got out ahead of Rivio there. It's not held him up at all. So he got out ahead of Rivio and is now able to push on. But of course Rivio's right in the slipstream and he has warmer tyres and it's going to annoy Toby Davis no end, because Rivio of course is a pit stop behind him, if he even pits of course. And Toby Davis is ahead of him. But Toby has to, he almost got into a big contact there also as well. Locked the tyres quite a lot. And that's a dangerous area to see how fast that corner is. He's lost the position to Rivio. He could be hoping now that Rivio pits. Otherwise he's going to have lose lots of time trying to get back past the Finnish driver.
Indeed, and you can just see must see the frustration now in Davis's driving style to try to change it to get back past. Exactly what I was saying there, Ryan. As soon as he comes out of the pit, he needs to get that tyre rubbered up as soon as possible to try and get that momentum and not let Rivio pass, but it hasn't gone his way as that bright pink 96 car of Merivale pulls into the pit lane for a set of new tyres. So practically is where he feed out. Adam Vaughan sits 14 as Nagy out to P13. So looking for a good result today, but the one man who's lead now has actually come slicing down a little bit. Is out to Veit down to 2.3, a further 2 tenths since we last spoke of it. So Talberg definitely feeling that sort of a gain right now. He's definitely reeling him in like a fisherman, if you will. But as we said before, Jesper's been known not to stop here in this World Touring Masters this season. So if that is the case, then that 2.7 second gap as it rockets back up now is irrelevant, despite what seems to be doing here. Is there anything you can do, I can do better. So trading sector times between the two at the moment. But if that 2.7 seconds, I beg your pardon, becomes irrelevant due to Jesper not stopping, then Jesper could really take victory here. As a further 13 seconds down the road is Ross McGregor. So very shaken up field here, still during the pit stop window. To take a look at Jeff Dobbing trying to defend off JRG at the moment. But I don't know if Tveit has got what it takes here, because if Jesper doesn't stop, then it could be a fond farewell and taking a 4th victory here today.
But of course, if Tveit doesn't stop, and Tveit doesn't really need to stop either, because at the moment he's pulling away from Jesper Talberg, or at least keeping the gap pretty much the same. So if all Tveit has to do is just watch the gap. If the gap starts to come down, then maybe he'll decide to pit. If he doesn't come down, it won't decide to pit, and Vaughan's given a bit of a tap there to the back of Jeff Dobbing, sent him out of shape. That's allowed JIG down the inside. Jay's just pitted and has fresher rubber than both of these drivers here, so I think that's going to be inevitable anyway. And Adam Vaughan just helping JIG out there a little bit through that fast section. And the BMW factory drivers almost, you can see, that's Rivalia's skin from the 1987 World Championship winning BMW M3, and then we've got the 635 of Rivalia and Berger from the 1984 Spa 24-hour race, where they were also victorious.
Indeed, let's see if they can maybe try and get a similar result today. They're definitely one of top 10, that's for sure. Currently P15, and you can see there Jeff Dobbing's got a nice view. Oh, I see there, to beg your pardon, of the cars in front. Jeff Dobbin still P15 trying to catch Jadji at the moment, but Davis back in his original position, and he's got a nice train of cars in front of him. He will try and disperse sooner rather than later, but that's the man who needs to worry about as they approach some traffic. Ross McGregor sits in P3 once again. He's had a good, strong race here this afternoon. It really is great to see what McGregor's capable of. He really has pushed himself this season, I think. And it's just interesting to see if he can pick up another podium today. But I remember you saying just earlier on in the race, you spoke to Tveit and said that he's got no excuses here and you want to see him get a podium. I'm sure he's fulfilling your expectations right now. 9 laps to go, 2.5 seconds over Jesper Talberg. Question is, can he finish the job off?
Absolutely, and if he does win this race, he will become the youngest Touring Pro Series victor ever, I think. Almost certainly there is not very many drivers younger than him. Eric Strani, I think, is slightly younger than him, but has never won a TPS race, although he's done extremely well, of course. And John Monroe has been in contention for Clio wins, but never actually won the race. So this could be the youngest ever. It's history in the making right here, of course, right here. There's no doubt about it. And as Ross McGregor just makes his way through the traffic, he's already got past Tony Matthews, got past Lee Palmer there also. He's got Iken Roding ahead of him. And Ross McGregor is in 3rd at the moment. He's obviously dispensed with Steve Davis in the way that Chris Butcher could not do. And Tony Davis has lost around about 25 seconds making that pit stop. And he's right behind Tommy Oyala now and should be making short work of him, really, because Tommy, I think, has not pitted, if I'm correct. Yeah, that would be the case, because he'd be much further behind Tommy Davis if he had. At 21 now, so just 8.5 laps to go here. And Eric Tveit is en route to making history.
Indeed he is, and just taking a look at the championship quickly as well. Tveit currently sits in 4th, behind him Ross McGregor, William Levesque and Chris Butcher. So those guys from around P4 to P7 all doing fairly well this race. Tveit leading, Ross McGregor up into 3rd, Chris Butcher up into 8th, and of course William Levesque, caught up in the incident earlier on, is now outside the top 16. So this really is going to shake up the championship. Tommy O'Hala, the man in front, of course, of Eric Tveit by just 1 point, is way down in P6, still yet to make a stop. So this really is going to shake up that midfield. I made reference earlier to just how close this midfield championship really is, and this is surely is going to tighten it even closer right now until there's barely literally anything between the drivers. So the final couple of rounds of this championship really are going to be something spectacular indeed, if not for the title race, for every position in between. And right now Tveit looking to further extend that kind of claim. As you can see, William Levesque just in front, I believe. So I wonder, though, if that is William Levesque, that's not going to be a familiar sight for him, is it? Normally, being passed by Tveit is a little bit of mental capacity in itself, but being passed at a lap down is surely a bit demotivating for a driver as established as Levesque.
Yeah, absolutely, and he will not like that Rover being in his mirrors, of course. He does have fresh tyres on, so he should just about pull away. If Torborg does win this race, then he will have won 5 races in a row, which equals the record for races won in a row in the Touring Pro Series, which is the same as Florence Strauss in the virtual V8 supercars in 2011, start of 2012, and Torborg is gaining just slightly, just a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there, and soon he'll be in the slipstream, of course, as well, and that will help him even further. So this is getting a bit tense right here, right now. 1.7 seconds is the gap. It was 2.1 last time around at this particular sector. It seems like the Super is about 2 tenths slower down the straight than the Rover. And this time, Tavai is not been able to pull out any time in that section either. So Torborg is going to gain more time here, it seems like to me. Now those tyres on the Rover starting to give up. Is Eric Tavai's driving style starting to harm the tyres more than the car can cope?
Well, it's amazing. One thing's for certain, that gap is coming down. It seems certain that Jesper's got that chisel back out after carving away Toby Davis earlier on. Looking to try and make it, he said, his 5th race win in a row, which is some remarkable feat. And just another statistic to add to the already massive collection of records that Jesper Tolberg contains. And right now, Tavai looking to be the man to stop that, though, as he catches William Levesque rapidly now and is trying to disperse him as soon as possible, maybe with a bit of a barrier between him and Tolberg for a bit. And whilst, of course, it's not for race position, and, you know, there's nothing really Levesque can do to try and change the fate of this race, it is almost a bit comforting knowing that there is another car between yourself and your main competitor, especially that competitor is Jesper Tolberg.
And just to correct myself a little bit there, it's actually only a record in rFactor 5 race wins in a row. The record in Touring Pro Series overall is, of course, Van Dorn, who won 8 races in a row in the ATCC Season 4. A phenomenal feat. That was on race 07, of course. So that's the actual overall record in the Touring Pro Series. What is the gap as they come round this time around? It's 1.9, so he's pulled out 0.3 of a second over this lap. Tavai's been very pleased with that indeed. Levesque right ahead of him. Let's check back through the field, see what battles we have out on at the moment. Ross McGregor is in 3rd. He's pulling away now from Steve Davis, who must be struggling with those tyres, just relying on the power on the straights. He'll have Toby Davis trying to close in on him, but of course Toby going to have to gain by a huge amount to try and get back. He's not going to get back to Ross McGregor at this race. He's actually going to give up that solid 3rd position he had, unfortunately. Tommy Oyala is in 6th. Eunice Ravio is catching him hand over fist, considering how out of the incidents Ravio's been in this so far here today. That's a phenomenal job from Ravio, who came so close to his first TPS podium last time around at Mid-Ohio. Behind them is Chris Butcher. He'll be looking to try and gain to these drivers. He's got fresher tyres than those guys ahead of him. And there's Nielsen. I can't remember if he's pitted actually. I think he has, because Meervold definitely pitted and he's behind him by not very many seconds, so I'm not quite sure on that one. I didn't quite notice. 11th place is British Ferry. He has pitted. Asnahi also. Adji is in 13th. He's definitely pitted. I don't think Asnahi has pitted. Jeff Dobbing is 14th. 15th is Florence Strauss. 16th now is Adam Vaughan. He's kept his head above water in that top 16 so far in this race. As the race has fluctuated backwards and forwards, there are, of course, just 5.5 laps to go, as Adam Vaughan has been doing that plenty of times throughout this event. 17th is Kevin Enderman, 18th is Orca Clint, and he's got Matty Orban right behind him, but Orban won't be able to pass him until at least the next section, because Orca Clint is going to go down the straight with that Mustang power, and into the first turn. They come just quickly hold on to this as we go in. Oh, Orban almost pushed Orca Clint off there as he was caught out by the poor braking of that Mustang. The Mustang looks more of a race car than the Volvo, but trust me, it's less of a race car. Oh, and Orban again deep into the next corner. David Junti's out, by the way. David Junti's out. After that great run he was having, he's out of the race. He's had a crash, suspension failure. So something's happened to David Junt. We've not seen that, so that's unfortunate for the Swiss driver. Scott Zervig and Ethan Bass and Motteram also out. They were quite close together on track, I'm pretty sure, so maybe something happened between those guys. Levesque is in 20th, 21st is Ike Roding, and Levesque is the final car on the lead lap, so top 20 on the lead lap, and the top 20 get points here today. Roding has got Lee Palmer for company. He's had that throughout most of the race. Tony Matthews in 23rd. I'm not sure what Mike Bell's doing at the moment. He's way out off the track. And I think Matteo Urbana's got past Orkelin. Yes, he has. There we go. Into the final section. Let's go back to the front of the field. Here is Eric Tveit leading by 1.2 seconds now. The gap is coming down.
It is indeed, and of course it could be another thrilling climax here in the World Touring Masters. Remember back to qualifying in Spa, whilst it was not really the same extent, Talbot was still involved once again, and he really does like to shake things up and prove not only is he the best here, but he does it in such extraordinary circumstances that it really does make it such wonderful spectators to watch. And let's see if he can do it once again here today. 1.2 as they begin this lap. Tveit could definitely be feeling the heat as Talbot just tries to pile on the pressure. As you can see, there's that looming threat down. It just almost sends a chill down your spine, seeing Talbot just breathe down your neck. And whether it's a competitive race, a league race, or even just a fun race, it's still yes for Talbot nonetheless. And of course, Tveit chasing that victory here in Touring Pro Series. He wants it. He wants to taste that feeling of what it's like to be at the top, and once you get that first victory ride, it really does boost your self-esteem and try and hopefully motivate you further as a driver. We know Eric Tveit has got such great talent. It'll be great to see him finally on the top step of that podium.
He's pulled out a gap in that first sector as well. That's unusual. Usually Jesper's been faster in that first sector. As they go now, the second sector line is about here. 1.6, he's pulled out 4/10 in this lap. And it's not just the gap, the fact he's pulled out tenths. That's less time for Jesper to catch him, of course. 1.6 seconds. We've got 3 laps to go at the end of this race. At the end of this lap, sorry, should I say. And Eric Tveit is going to be feeling the nerves. The nerves are going to start to build. I know what it's like. When I've won plenty of times in the Touring Pro Series, only in Clio's, of course. I won't get myself too big-headed, of course. But only in Clio's, and they're easy to drive. But I do still get nervous when I'm racing around and it's a final couple of laps. You think, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. And I've won a few, and Eric Tveit's never won one, so I can only imagine what his nerves are like. I can't remember what my nerves are like, actually. I'm not sure that the Touring Pro Series is quite as big as it was when I won my first Touring Pro Series race. So it wasn't quite the same cachet or prestige, perhaps you could say, at the time. Whereas Eric Tveit is definitely going to be a prestigious win here, because he's holding off the reigning champion and the 4 times Touring Pro Series champion Jesper Talbot. The gap's down to 1 second though. I thought that first chicane was a little bit tentative. He just missed the first apex just ever so slightly, and Jesper Talbot has punished him. The gap is 1 second. 2.5 laps to go.
Yeah, Talbot, one of the most unforgiving drivers there are as well. If you make a mistake, he'll be the first man in line to capitalise on it. And the thing is, when he gets to this stage in the race, every corner becomes so much longer in your mind, it'll feel like the slowest 2 laps of a driver's lifetime. You just try and bring it home, focus on every corner. You just got 2 laps to go, 2 laps to go. You know, one corner, just take a corner at a time, and every time you do that, there's a looming threat, because Talbot's at a different level. He's thinking there's only 2 laps to go. Let's get the hurry up. Let's try and get this done, and he's definitely working for it now. That is definitely under a second, and we'll get confirmation as they come across the start-finish line. Tveit gets a bit of a weird run immediately. Starts to the outside. 0.5 has been halved on the penultimate lap. Here comes Jesper Talbot, all out assault. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. He's P2, 19 seconds clear of Ross McGregor, and Tveit needs to try and hold this on. This really is going to test the driver ability of Eric Tveit. If he fights off Jesper Talbot and defends his lead, then he thoroughly deserves to be a winner here today. As Talbot goes up the inside, it's a deep to the fire. Look how close he got there. Talbot sniffed the moment, and that's exactly what he does. He's just there from now on out, almost like the Slender Man gets closer every time until eventually he strikes and claims the victim. Let's see what Tveit can do as they have traffic. If I were you, I'd probably surely get out of the way as soon as possible.
Tveit will be screaming at Jonathan Orkelin, get out of my way, get out of my way. He'll be absolutely screaming at the screen right now. Move, you stupid fat Mustang. Really, move out of my way. He's in his best Gollum voice, because that Mustang is going to hold him up. Get out of the way, Jonathan. Get out of the way.
He's moving to the outside as well. He could have lost a bit of time.
Get out of the way. Oh, he's contact with Talbot. He's hit Talbot. A bit of contact there has held on Talbot. He's given Tveit a bit of a break. He's given Tveit about 3/10 there. And we're coming out to the final lap right now. This is the penultimate set of corners. He just has to do this racetrack one more time. He just has to do it perfectly one more time. And his first Touring Pro Series victory will be in his hands. The gap is still half a second. This is, I'm on the edge of my seat right here. This is going to be fantastic stuff.
I can't even avoid that. This is just incredible. Tavai so close. He's been a hard charger at Spa, if you remember, picking up so many positions. He's impressed us in the entire season. Definitely one of the hot shots of the year. He's been the underdog this race. Started on second place. He wants to try and really reel this win now to take a victory. It means so much to him. The fans must be spurring him on right now. And Talbot's there though. He's not going to let it lie. He's a bit further away. Tavai needs this straight to last forever, but it's not, of course, so he needs to try and pull away as much as possible, use as much as the tarmac as the track will let him. You can see tarmac slowly fading away into the distance, 0.6 seconds as they go through the first leg. It's a 10th, but a 10th could be the difference between a victory and a second place for the Rover of Eric Tavai. It will be not only the only Rover to win this season, he'll be the only driver, except for Jesper Talbot, to win this season, and it will be such a feat to accomplish as well for such a deserving driver, providing he can just hold on.
He's got 3 corners to go. Here we go. We go left, we go right, we go left, and we have a new Touring Pro Series winner. Here is the right-hander, and Tavai is going to win his first Touring Pro Series race. He flashes his lights in delight. What a performance from the 14-year-old. The Norwegian takes his first Touring Pro Series win here in the World Touring Masters Round 4, Season 4 of Salzburgring. Look at the delight. Oh, he's crashed his car in delight. Look at that. He's trying to do a wonderful weave, and look at everyone congratulating him. There is Clint and Levesque also congratulating him as well. Trite says, I want to get out of here, please, Jonathan. Thank you very much. And Jesper Talbot is defeated for the first time this season. Toby Davis couldn't do it. Florian Strauss couldn't do it. Chris Butcher couldn't do it. But Eric Tavai, no problem, he says. I got this, guys, no problem. Second place, Jesper Talbot. He'll extend his championship lead, of course. Third place, Ross McGregor. Fourth place, Steve Davis. Fifth place, Toby Davis. Threw away that third place really by pitting. Sixth place, Eunice Ravio. Seventh place, Tommy Oyala. Eighth place, Chris Butcher. Ninth place is Ollie Moraes from Miervo. Wish people wouldn't crash coming across the line, thank you. 10th place, Anders Nielsen. And running through the rest of the grid will be Liam Jenkins.
Yeah, indeed. So it really was incredible as we wait for the man in P11 to cross the line. There is Jay Agee. Well deserved there as we wait for the rest of the cavalry to come along. Alberto Asnagi, this is P12. Jeff Dobbing 13th. Bruno Salazar Ferreira moves up into P14. Florian Strauss a lot lower than he'd like to. P15. Adam Vaughan comes across in 16th place in front of Kevin Enderman. Matej Orban in 18th. William Levesque, what happened to him? The answer to that is turn 1 on the first lap. He comes across the line in a lonely 19th position in front of Jonathan Ockerclint, Iker Roding, Lee Palmer, Tony Matthews, Mike Bell, and Tristan Clark rounds out the top 25. Absolutely astounding series of events here today, and it really has been a pleasure to go. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to hear from race winner Eric Tavai. We're going to hear from a few other drivers as well and get their opinions on the events which have just transpired here at the Salzburgring, so don't go anywhere.
We will be back after this break, back in 2 minutes for those driver interviews Liam just mentioned.
Welcome back, everybody, and truly astounding event here at the Salzburgring. The first man to win a race other than Jesper Talberg this season, and it goes to the 14-year-old Norwegian, Erik Tavai. We've got him here for an interview. Erik, what are your emotions right now? You must be absolutely elated.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I'm just really, really happy.
I mean, how was that for you? Obviously, you had a great qualifying session, an even better start to the race. And how was it having, like, Jesper Talberg just breathing down your neck the entire race? Did you feel under pressure?
Yes, I was under pressure for like the whole race because I knew Jesper would be strong in the later parts of the race. So when I got the slipstream from Jonathan, yes, then I know this will be mine.
I mean, obviously, incredible scenes here as well. You really have worked hard. If you remember back to Spa when you had that epic charge through the field, do you feel kind of like you've accomplished it now? You finally hit that point, and can you see yourself maybe hopefully getting more victories in the future after a performance like that?
We will see. Hopefully.
Okay, well, many congratulations to you. I think we'll let you go and run around your room shouting yes for a few moments and talk to you later on. So congratulations, Erik, and I believe Ryan's got another couple of drivers for you.
I have indeed got to interview Mr. Toby Davis. Of course, Toby, your preparation today wasn't exactly ideal. We'll get onto that extracurricular material in just a second. But that strategy ended up being completely wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, well, the lack of preparation for once sort of bit me back. I asked Will, who tends to get it right, what the strategy should be, and he said stop and 2 sets of 40-litre stints, and it didn't work. But to be honest, I wouldn't have been able to get ahead of Jesper and Erik anyway. I was probably looking at a best of third if I didn't stop. So fifth is okay, and perhaps one more lap I would have got Steve for fourth, but shoulda, woulda, coulda.
My favourite phrase. Well, fifth isn't too bad, but of course it's quite a big dent in those championship hopes. Of course, you were on about being quite. What's the word? Being quite resigned over this season anyway already without, because Jesper obviously needs a few hiccups for it to go wrong. We don't have Jesper in here today, unfortunately. And Toby, tell us about what happened today. Actually, I want to ask you about this team hard test and how that went today was it Alton Park?
No, they changed it. They changed it to the Pro Drive Centre at Kenilworth. It's a fantastic opportunity put on by Tony Gillam. And basically, there was about 100 people entered, and they got 2 15-minute sessions at the Kenilworth Proving Grounds in kind of road cars that Tony Gillam provided. There was some courses and some Astras and a Golf. And there was a team of instructors, which included Rob Austin, obviously Tony Gillam, and some of his crew, and of course Jack Goff, who's the Clio champion as well. So some pretty good people to talk to throughout the day, and considering I was there until 6 o'clock from 8 in the morning, plenty of time to talk to people, and quite a few people interested in supercars as well. So it was a good day. I don't know whether I'll manage to get through. There were some top drivers there, but it was fun nonetheless, and it's a great opportunity to be part of. So kudos to Team Hard, and they're going to do it over the next few years as well. So it's not just a one-time thing. And I urge anyone in the UK to have a go next year. It's only £300, and the prize is a full season in the VW Cup, fully paid for. And of course, the VW Cup is where Tony Gillam himself came from to race in BTCC. So anyway, I'll stop talking about it. It was great to be part of. So
I wish you luck for the results to come through, and hopefully you get through into the 30 to go through into the next rounds.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have a quick chat to before we go to Chris. We're going to have a quick chat to Adam Vaughan, who had a pretty much a front row seat for what happened at turn 1 there, Adam.
Basically there was all I seen was just cars parked on the side, so my tactic was just drive at them. It shouldn't be the way, but when Butchie got pressed his handbrake in the last race, I decided to slow down and got rear-ended, so I just decided to drive at them. And then luckily in the second lap, they all had to go at it again, and I managed to avoid everyone and take about 7 spots, so I was lolling my way through.
Well, of course, the rest of the race is quite eventful for you as well. You had plenty of battles with Florian Strauss back in the midfield there. Pretty happy with the result?
Yeah, I had one spin, which cost me, I'd say, 12th place. And I was looking at Aznagi, and basically what he was doing is he was behind a faster car, and I couldn't catch him because every time he hit that straight, he was just getting a slipstream and pulling about half a second on me each lap, which is quite painful. And I had obviously no one to play with. So.
Oh, poor lonely Adam. Anyway, congratulations on your race today. And Chris, welcome back to the Touring Pro Series after your excursion to Jasperini. We'll talk about that in just a second. But your race today, a little bit disappointing, but a good battle in the first stage with Ross McGregor.
Yeah, that was fun. That nice and clean. Which is, to be honest, disappointingly, it's a while since I can say that, to be honest. But I think I finished in the right position for my pace. I didn't have enough time to practice really for obvious reasons. And my first laps for this race were just an hour and a half before the event. I think with me, Toby and Will, I think made a strategic error by pitting. I think we'd have probably been better without doing that. So I might have finished a couple of places ahead, but then I kept binning it, pushing too hard. So I think I finished where I should have done.
Okay, so what everyone really wants to know is how did the Jasperini go, of course? For those people who don't know, and to be honest, it's been covered quite a lot, so you should know by now, but Chris Butcher won the Red Bull Gridsters UK contest and won VIP tickets to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix just a few days ago. And of course, and how did that go for you, Chris?
It was fantastic. Loved every minute of it. Unfortunately, the only downside was that I was bragging to everybody that I see the V8s and I didn't get to see them. I only heard them. But yeah, I can't really complain at that. Absolutely brilliant to be there. Top class treatment from Red Bull whilst we were there. Got to go in the garage during the race as well, which was something else that were really special. And yeah, had a great time there.
Excellent stuff, and congratulations once again for that praise. So thank you to all the drivers for entertaining us today and all the viewers for watching, of course. Thank you to simracinghardware.com for providing the prize and sponsoring this World Touring Masters Season 4. We're signing off today with the news that Eric Tveit is a first-time Touring Pro Series winner, the youngest driver ever to win in the Touring Pro Series. Congratulations to him. It was a fantastic race, wasn't it, Liam?
Oh, just absolutely spectacular. Every time you go into a World Touring Masters broadcast, you always think, I don't think it can quite beat the last one. The last one was just too good. But every time it just comes out and smashes it. And this truly has been one of the most exceptional scenes to witness in my history of commentating Touring Pro Series. A real honour. Massive congratulations to Eric Tveit. And it really has opened up the midfield in that championship, as I was saying. This really is going to get close going in towards the final round. So from me, it's goodbye.
And from me, it's goodbye as well, and we'll see you in a week's time for the Virtual Clio Series and in 2 weeks' time for the World Touring Masters once again on the same channel. Until then, enjoy yourselves.